In 2019, most primary agricultural states' bankruptcy rates reached their highest levels in at least 15 years. Iowa, Minnesota, Nebraska, Illinois, and Kansas had higher bankruptcy rates among the 7 largest agricultural states. Let's look at some of the significant farms that have gone bankrupt. Let's dive into the largest farms that have gone bankrupt. Although it can conceal regional differences, the national Chapter 12 bankruptcy rate is a vital measure of the agriculture economy's general health. The types of commodities grown, as well as weather and pest challenges, differ by state. Therefore, when bankruptcy rates are compared by state, it is possible to see variances in farm financial stress throughout the country and understand the issues that lead to bankruptcies. Researchers from USDA's Economic Research Service, ERS, have developed a new bankruptcy rate metric that enables more accurate comparisons of bankruptcy rates between states and across time. According to their research, bankruptcy rates in most major agricultural states were at their highest in at least 15 years in 2019. Did you know, after peaking during the commodities price bubble in 2014, broiler prices fell 30% from 2014 to 2019. In addition, agricultural land prices in Georgia declined by 27% from 2009 to 2019. As a result, farmers' capacity to get loans and restructure debts is hampered by lower land values. Wisconsin had the second highest rate of agricultural bankruptcy at 15.8 per 10,000 qualified farms. Between 2005 and 2019, the number of permitted dairy herds in the United States decreased by 47%. Over the same period, the number of herds in Wisconsin plummeted even more, by 49%. Furthermore, Wisconsin lost 9% of its herds between 2018 and 2019, the most of any state. Guess what? California and Florida had bankruptcy rates in 2019 that were lower than their 10-year norms. Fruits and vegetables make for the most agricultural revenue in Florida, and these high-value commodities have not seen the same price declines as cattle and row crops like corn and soybeans in recent years. In 2019, fruit and vegetables made for a significant portion of California's agricultural revenues. Improvements in non-farm economic conditions may also have aided California's recent reduction in bankruptcy rates. Trends in bankruptcy rates generally mirror the pricing of a few goods in states where a few commodities dominate production. Cattle, for example, contributed for over half of all agricultural cash revenues in Nebraska and Kansas, and cattle prices have fallen significantly in real terms since 2014, remaining below 2011 levels since 2016. As a result, between 2015 and 2019, the number of people filing for bankruptcy in these states surged by more than 5-fold. David Slack constructed a new dairy barn several years ago when milk prices were high, which he later regretted. Milk prices dropped by several dollars shortly after the building. Slack began declaring bankruptcy in 2019 when essential commodities he cultivated, such as maize and soybeans, followed suit. Wisconsin has seen the highest number of farmers file for Chapter 12 bankruptcy in recent years. According to a Midwest Center for Investigative Reporting research, Vernon and Monroe counties, which border each other in southern Wisconsin, have received 35 filings combined since 2013. This is shockingly more than any other bordering county in the Midwest. Several issues have lately put pressure on farmers across the country. The trade battle is heating up, whether that is unpredictable. Debt levels haven't been this high since the 1980s financial crisis. Production expenses are rising. Income is decreasing. Commodity prices are low. To compete, there's a lot of pressure to grow. For some farmers across the United States, recently increased commodity prices and continued ad hoc financial help to balance environmental disasters, retaliatory tariffs, and coronavirus-related losses have arrived too late. For instance, 2020, the impact of multiple years of low commodity prices and delayed disaster relief distribution, followed by a worldwide epidemic, can be seen in newly released caseload statistics from the United States courts. This shows that Chapter 12 family farm and family fishery bankruptcies totaled 552 filings in 2020, down 43 filings or 7% from 2019, but still the third highest over the last decade. As a result, according to data given by the United States courts, the number of agricultural bankruptcies increased by 20% in 2019. However, many farmers decide to leave before it reaches that point. According to state figures, Wisconsin lost about 10% of its dairy farms last year. The information pertains to Chapter 12 bankruptcies, a type of bankruptcy under the Federal Bankruptcy Code that allows family farmers and fishers to reorganize their finances and escape liquidation or foreclosure. Unsecured creditors, such as a local feed mill or a machinery dealership, generally owe this obligation. However, according to McEwen, the most crucial aspect of a Chapter 12 bankruptcy is that tax liability incurred due to the sale of land or or other assets during the reorganization is included in this category. Since Congress raised the debt limit, a farmer may have from $4.5 million to $10 million in 2019. In addition, McEwen said there had been a surge in the number of Chapter 12 bankruptcy filings across the country. According to Paul Swanson, an Oshkosh bankruptcy attorney, most of the farms filing for bankruptcy in Wisconsin are smaller dairy farms that have borrowed too much since milk prices fell in 2015. There were 595 such bankruptcies filed in 2019, up from 498 in 2018. Chapter 12 bankruptcies have already reached an 8-year peak, despite the government supplying farmers with a $28 billion bailout. And guess what? This is twice as much as the bailout of Detroit's Big Three automakers in 2009. The rise was predicted. While the aid package has helped, many farmers are still struggling as a result of the trade dispute with China, which has cut them off from one of their most important markets. In addition to that, the agricultural industry is also dealing with rising farm debt, poor commodity prices, and increasingly uncertain weather forecasts. According to the Department of Agriculture, government help and taxpayer-subsidized insurance payments accounted for about 1/3 of predicted net agricultural revenue in 2019. Western Wisconsin continues to lead the country in agricultural bankruptcies, with the newest filings expected in 2020. However, according to bankruptcy experts, most farmers seek alternatives to retain farming rather than going out of business. With 30 new filings, the Eastern District of Wisconsin placed 4th in the country, just behind Kansas and Nebraska. According to government data, 580 farmers filed for Chapter 12 bankruptcy protection in the 12 months ending June 30th. According to agricultural economists and attorneys, this was a drastic increase of 8% over the previous year. So, how did it all begin? From 2014 to 2019, commodity and farmland prices declined, placing pressure on farmers' income and assets for living expenditures and production investments. When it comes to coping with financial difficulties, farmers have a number of alternatives. They may lower their working capital, postpone capital projects, cut input costs, or look for a job off the farm. Bankruptcy is often one of the final actions taken by farmers before selling their farms. Most farmers who file for bankruptcy do so under Chapter 12 because it allows them to rearrange debts quickly and predictably while avoiding asset liquidation or foreclosure. In addition, under Chapter 12, debtors apply to the court a repayment plan in which they pay creditors in installments over a period of 3 to 5 years. As a result, farmers can propose repayment plans that reduce their debt, prolong their payment duration, and bring their present loan interest rates to market rates. The current spike in agricultural financial hardship is reflected in national Chapter 12 bankruptcy rates. According to quarterly bankruptcy filings from the United States courts, the number of farms filing for Chapter 12 bankruptcy grew 46% from 2014 to 2019. However, the bankruptcy rate is still lower than in the past. ERS researchers matched the number of bankruptcies to the number of farms that potentially qualify for bankruptcy to examine Chapter 12 bankruptcy rates among states. To be eligible under Chapter 12, family farmers must fulfill a list of criteria. For example, farming must have provided more than half of gross revenue in the previous tax year, or each of the second and third prior tax years. This criterion significantly reduces the number of farms eligible for Chapter 12 protection. In addition, because their households often receive the majority of their income from on-farm activities, those that qualify tend to be larger-scale businesses. And surprisingly, even when economic conditions are identical across states, the typical bankruptcy rate metric tends to show more excellent bankruptcy rates in states with more big farms. The bankruptcy rate, as a percentage of qualified farms, on the other hand, is less impacted by farm size distribution. Therefore, it should better represent economic situations in each state. For example, in 2019, the 15 central agricultural states' combined bankruptcy rate was 6.7 per 10,000 farms qualifying for Chapter 12 bankruptcy protection. The bankruptcy rates in 2019 were higher than the 10-year norms in 13 of the 15 central agricultural states. Among those states, Georgia and Wisconsin had the highest bankruptcy rates in 2019. Lower chicken and farmland prices may have contributed to Georgia's 21.6 per 10,000 eligible farms bankruptcy rate. Broiler chickens were Georgia's most significant crop, accounting for half of the state's total agricultural revenue earnings in that year. That's a wrap for this video. What are your thoughts about the bankruptcy of these large farms? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.